Hello and welcome to Laurence Plays for part 2 of my interview with Egorex, the creator of the Igrys mod, the planet of magic and crystals that we visited earlier in the Planetary Pioneers run. The next question then will be, was there anything you thought about for multiplayer games? You've mentioned a bit the sort of compatibility with other mods, and yours is particularly has a particularly deep integration because you're messing around with everyone else's science packs. Would you say there's anything else that's been relevant where you've had a sort of a thing you've had to deal with or consider because of compatibility with other mods?
People contacted me to integrate my glass with glass from other mods. But when I look, I think it was Maraxis, glass from Maraxis, because there's also glass there. But when I looked at this recipe, I was like, it's not gonna work with my intended experience. So I just had to politely decline.
Yes.
I've also then made an option to change the look of my glass and the name to Magic Glass to make it distinguishable. And later I just decided that why not just make it the default.
Yeah, make it its own thing. That makes sense, because there's often, in some of the other more sort of real-world chemistry type mods, you often get multiple different ways to produce the same thing, and it can lead to things being easier than they should be or harder than they should be. So it makes sense to try and make it its own thing. And that, I guess, comes back again to the trying to make lots and lots of mods work together thing.
Yeah, exactly. But also Magic Glass fits better because I've also got comments that it's not really how you make glass. So when it's Magic Glass, you can't complain. It's magic.
Yes, it's the old, oh, well, we'll just call it magic and we can do whatever we like thing against it.
Exactly.
Excellent. Any sort of specific things you tweaked for multiplayer?
Honestly, I did not take that into consideration. I know Factorio is multiplayer, but I don't know, I never have thought of it that way myself. I also assumed that multiplayer would work fine with what is here.
It basically not has, really. Yes. We just sort of jumped straight into the game with default settings. Are there any settings that you think players should be aware of and it's worth them taking note of when they start up? Any mod settings that should be configured before you get going?
Well, I'm not sure at that point if the integrate modded science packs it's a startup setting. I'm not sure if it's by default on or off, because it's the option that actually enables the whole code to try to integrate with other science packs, because I needed to add that because otherwise it could break some mods. It could crash the whole game. So
right, I see. So it sort of it detects things that it thinks are a science pack, even if you haven't specifically given it code for those, and then
exactly.
Right.
So I think it's on by default. So that setting you can turn it off if the mod causes crashes for you, because then it will just work with vanilla science packs, and all of the others, well, they are by default how I want them to be. But yeah, if you don't like the fact, for example, that they steal the Spidertron tech, you can turn that off.
It did seem slightly weird to us that we've now got Spidertrons before we've got rocket turrets, when a Spidertron is a rocket turret on legs, but never mind.
I wanted something more on my planet. I decided I like Spidertrons that steal Spidertrons.
Fair enough. Yeah, of course, your planet does give us the diagonal inserters, which are a lot of fun. We've not used them in enormous amounts, but they are very handy occasionally in the pinch. Now we've got a few of them playing around here. So.
Yeah, isn't that your only use case for them?
No, we have used one or two. Yeah, it's a sort of when we're trying to do something that doesn't quite fit, and we can make it a little bit more. Oh, here we go. Down here, we've got one machine making plastic feeding into three machines making low density structures, and we could probably have found a way to squeeze that together without using diagonal inserters, but we'd have had to put one of the assembly machines on above or below. We wouldn't have had the neat row of them like this. So yeah, that
new interesting opportunities, right?
Exactly, yes, and that's what we like to see. It doesn't go quite to the same level of crazy as the Bob's inserters, but it gives us a little bit of extra capacity to play with.
About Bob's inserters, I got comments to make the diagonal inserter optional because it clutters the mod list when people already have Bob's inserters.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I made it optional right now, but my worry is that then people who could actually use it won't download it because it's optional. And like myself, when I play mods, I don't really download the optional ones.
I see. I think we did get this one. I don't know.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was necessary a while ago, so we probably started the playthrough.
Yeah, I think yes, that does sound like we might have missed it if we'd started now. So yeah, that would be a shame because they're quite fun. But then
No, I figure I can add it at least to the description. Maybe some people will notice that then and that.
Yes, we did read the descriptions of all of the certainly of all the planet mods before we started. So yeah, that would have worked for us. Yeah, that I think would be quite nice. So one of the things I find with this sort of thing in Factorio is it takes me a while to internalize it as a new option. So there are probably a lot of places where it would have been really handy to use the diagonal inserters, but I haven't remembered that they exist at the time when I've used them. So,
yeah, I get it. Yeah.
But hopefully I'll get used to it, and then I'll play a vanilla game and go, where are my diagonal inserters?
That would be funny. Well, then you can download it. It's a standalone mod,
True, that's true. Yes, it could be put into any playthrough I wanted to, but I think there's sometimes I try and deliberately play vanilla, and sometimes I try and. But sometimes I go for all the mods. It varies depending on what I feel like.
It's actually funny because it was like a mod with 50 downloads, I think, and right now it has nearly 20,000 because of Igrys.
Wow, that's impressive. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of people who are who finished Space Age and are looking for basically a Space Age Plus mod to then go on with. And we've had quite a few downloads of the Planetary Pioneers mod, even though that's just bundling together lots of other people's ones, so they can have a go at copying what we're doing if they fancy it.
I mean, it's a mod pack that works, so it's also one thing less for them to do, because...
Yeah, absolutely. Let somebody else do the hard work of guessing which mods can work.
Because it doesn't always work immediately.
So one question I've got on the list, which I think is probably the answer is probably fairly obvious, is the planet expected to be basically self-sufficient once you've got it up and running and built? And I assume the answer is yes, because you can produce the science packs and you can produce the rockets on the planet or straight from resources here. But was that a deliberate thing? You wanted the planet to be completely self-sufficient, or did it just sort of happen to fall out?
Yeah, it was a deliberate thing. It's also related to one change I've made. I made the glass rocket silo research require only mineral science pack, because then you can just import a lab and research it on the ground, because otherwise you'd have to first build a normal silo, and if you'd already have a normal silo, then there would be less incentive for you to make a glass one.
Yes, we did notice that, and I'm happy to say we did in fact then ship out a couple of labs, and we did that first little research here so we could then start shipping the science packs out. So yeah, we actually followed the expected way of playing that for once.
Great, yeah. But yeah, besides that, the planet is meant to be self-sufficient.
Yeah, and I think it works well. And yeah, having some of the things like the glass rocket silo is interesting because, as I say, it does things a little bit differently. It's got its own version, and making a rocket out. And I like how it's slightly translucent as well, which seems a little bit silly for a rocket to be see-through, but it fits with the theme of it being a glass rocket. So it's nice.
It's a magic glass. It could actually be made magic glass rocket because you use magic glass. That would explain the transparency.
Very true. Yes, it's fine because it's magical. It also explains why you can see all these things in it when you've got alt mode on. So we've noticed there's been a couple of ways different planet mods have gone, where there's been a couple of them. Lignumus and Maluna have almost been, they felt like they've been designed for you to make 2 visits there, where you go in at one point and you can't do everything you want, and so you then go back again later and can finish off the tech tree. And then there's I think basically all of the other ones we've done so far have been you go in once and you can do everything. Is the sort of multiple visits thing a thing you've considered at all, or is it just sort of you had your vision and you go in, you do the thing, and then you go off and you can carry on with another planet?
Yeah, I haven't really considered it. I mean, if I would have an idea to make a new comeback interesting, I would probably do that, but I don't want to make you come back with, I don't know, recyclers just for the sake of it, I feel like there's nothing wrong with just having one visit and coming back only when something stops working.
Oh, absolutely. Or when you've got a new piece of technology that you want to upgrade. Yeah, that
yeah,
makes
exactly.
sense. We've mostly covered this one already, I think. But did you say you think we approach the planet more or less the way you would expect? You commented on how we use the enhancer machines for the purple and the red science over here, but otherwise, is it sort of come together roughly as you'd expect? Have we built to about the sort of scale you'd expect as well?
Yeah, I think it's a scale out. The only reference that I had is my own base, which is kind of similar in size. So yeah, that's the size I would expect. Speaking about that, I would say that I don't know why you over or complicated the magic glass. Like on my save, it's just a priority inserter for the stone that's coming back. And here you've got some circuit conditions even.
Well,
I'm not sure. Maybe my save hasn't run long enough for it to become an issue.
So we ran into an issue where, because there's so much stone pouring out of the assemblers, it was enough to block it all up and then prevent the machines from unloading the magic glass, and so the system jammed up because there was so much stuff coming out of the assembly machines. This was what made the 300 in to 50 out work harder than 6 in and one of each out. So that's why we ended up with a little bit of faffery around here to try and make sure that the recycled stone got used up quickly, and any new stone was only allowed in when it was actually needed.
Oh, I know what's the difference. In my machines, I just have a long stone belt.
Oh, okay. So your recycling belt
that's
is much
buffer.
longer. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the things we considered was putting in buffers in chests, but without loaders, that gives you such a throughput penalty that we ended up deciding that wasn't feasible. But yeah, I did consider putting in a really long belt to provide the buffer, but that felt kind of ugly, and I decided I'd rather have I'd rather do some circuit conditions instead.
I think it's also because I've recently made some menu simulations, so I think if you were to encounter that one, you would see.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, there's another one that shows my solution for Semite, which is just a long belt and the camera goes through it.
Right, so it's a long belt, watching it slowly decaying down into the raw one, and then slowly decaying and then being quickly turned into the cooked Semite at the end. Right, okay. When we were doing the magic fluid processing and turning it into the crystals in order to make the tesseracts, in order to make the sciences, in order to make all of these sort of things, we had a few people in chat saying that we were going to need to put in some intelligence and some circuit conditions to balance the rate we're enhancing the crystals, or which of the crystal recipes we were using to try and keep them balanced. But it looks like it was actually just a one-to-one process all the way through. Is that something that's changed, or was chat just sort of...
No, it was like always like that. Yeah, it was intentional because I figured that we've already had some recipes with byproducts that you just need to convert somehow or get rid of, and I'm pretty sure most mods, not most, but a lot of mods also that add more recipes like that. So I was like, why not just make it actually equal and
nice and simple,
not require you to deal with the byproducts.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that is it enabled us to essentially make the enhanced crystals from whichever of the recipes was the cheapest one at the time, based on how much.
Yeah, that's also nice. Yeah, but that's also something I don't think it was the intent behind that mechanic, but it was a nice result of it, that you can just do the rich crystal for whichever one you have resources.
Yeah, that does make sense. It makes it a little bit easier. Did you foresee and expect players to need to export the magic fluid to take it over to the other planets? And presumably you did, because you're going to want the sciences people are going to want to do the sciences on the other planets where the resources for them are made. And it feels like the amount of magic fluid you need is quite a sensible amount, in that it's. You need to keep exporting it, but it's not too difficult to keep it flowing.
That was, with the amount, it was a little bit of a wild guess. I hoped it would be the right amount you need, and if it turned out good for you, then I'm glad. Yeah, it was meant to be exported. That's why I made even those special barrels. Because I was like, it's gonna be interesting if you'd have to transport them in the special barrels, and then if you want to, of course, be efficient, take those barrels on your trip back.
Yeah, I noticed that, and then it's the barrels are expensive enough that it feels like it's worth reusing them, which is nice. Whereas we found
that
that
was the
with
intention.
Maluna and the data tapes, when we start bringing those in, we've decided it's not worth recycling those, and we're just junking them because they're really, really cheap to make. Whereas the strong barrels are expensive enough and require difficult enough resources that it feels like it's worth shipping them all back to Igrys for reuse. So again, we've got that nice variety between the two different mods there, where they make you want to do things in different ways.
I mean, I was like, if you want to make science here, you can also do that, but I think it's not that feasible because you don't have iron here, and pretty much all of them require. Yeah, I mean, you have alternate recipes for red and purple. That was also my like thought. Maybe some people decide to move the red and purple science production here.
Yeah,
but
we've
I
not actually
haven't
moved
seen
off
that.
any of the Norvian science packs yet to any of the other planets, which is a thing that we may do at some point. I know I did it in my single-player vanilla Space Age run, but yeah, we haven't done it in this one yet. Oh, got another note. So it's saying the idea of a science pack requiring science packs as an ingredient is cool and sort of different and interesting. Was there anything that sort of sparked that idea for you? Was it something you wanted to do, or particularly wanted to do, or was it just a novel thought that occurred to you? And well, why not make science out of science?
Well, it started with the idea, what if I were to make alternate recipes for some of the science pack? And I was like, well, my planet has a lot of stone, so purple science, sure, it uses stone for rails, and then went red science because I figured it's simple. Yeah, and after I decided I made those alternate recipes, I was like, the only way to make them useful here is to put them in the new science pack. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
So it kind of came on its own.
Okay, that's quite cool. It's sort of, yeah, it was a sort of almost an accident. So yeah, I quite like that. Okay, we're nearly at the end now, so we've got sort of a couple of wrap-up type questions. Like, so excluding your own work, of course, are there any other mods that you think that you really like and would like to give a shout out to?
I did like the diagonal inserter, but I think I've made it. I've made a shout out for it. I mean, I've got 20,000 downloads for it, so.
Yeah, that's been quite effective already. Yes.
Besides that, well, I don't really have a modded playthrough, so I can recommend quality of life mods. I use rate calculator, and I also use, I would have to check how it's called, but it's basically a mod that lets you speed up the game, because I don't like waiting.
Right.
So
yeah, we have used the built-in game speed controls a little bit. We've mostly used that because we have a variety of computers at various different speeds. So sometimes we have to slow the game down to about 0.9 speed in order to make sure everyone's computers can keep up.
All right. Yeah.
And we're running our space exploration run towards the end of it was running at about 40% speed, I think, which was a bit ridiculous.
Well, the mod I meant is called Time Tools. So yeah, basically it just lets you do that from a simple UI.
Okay, yeah, that sounds a little bit nicer rather than typing commands into the console.
Yeah, but it's surprising that my computer can handle like 16 times the speed. But it also looks good.
I'm getting 260 UPS. That's not too bad. I've upgraded my computer fairly recently, so I've got one of the faster ones now. But yeah, this is quite a large factory now, so that's.
Well, I think you have a way bigger than mine, you know.
Yeah, and our Novice alone has got a little bit.
Yeah, Novice is bigger than all my planets combined, exactly. You know what's funny? I haven't even finished a science Space Age playthrough.
Oh right, okay. Basically as soon as Space Age came out, I started doing a Space Age run because it was the new exciting thing, and yeah, that was my previous series.
Yeah. You know, I was stuck. I still am stuck on sending a self-sufficient platform because I've researched basically everything, but I don't know, I just can't make a good platform. I think I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, if it's for getting to the Shattered Planet, and I wouldn't worry about that. I'd say if you're doing Promethean science, then I think you've basically finished the game.
Yeah, I'm not doing that also.
Oh, okay.
There are two things that I haven't done yet.
There's that bit left then. Right, so obviously, yeah, if people want to play Igrys, they can find it either in the Planetary Pioneers mod, of course, or through the Factorio mod portal. Is there anywhere else that you'd like to say people should look for your work, or if they want to contact you? Is there a good place to?
Well, if you
say
want to
hi?
contact me, you can just find me. I think you did that on Factorio Discord through my nickname. It's in my Factorio
Yes.
profile, how you can find me, Factorio mod portal profile. Also, if you click on that Factorio mod profile, you can go to itch.io where I release my own little work.
Okay, I'll stick a link to that in the
There's like
description, so check it out, everyone.
10 games over there, little ones. Oh, also about the mod, I just wanted to mention that maybe I just haven't noticed, but I haven't seen people use the pump jack, magic pump jack, it's called.
Okay, we are using
I mean,
that
besides
for,
the
using it
magic,
here, but not on the.
yeah, but it's necessary.
else.
But I think I saw one person tell me that they used it on novice for oil because it's twice as efficient. But I expected people to also export that.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. So actually, thank you for the reminder. I think that's going to be worth us looking into, especially on Novice where you've got unlimited water. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's something we should definitely think about. Thank you for the reminder.
Yes, that's also just a result of me looking through new ways to make something interesting. Like, I don't think we have pump jacks that require a different kind of fluid. We have miners that do that.
No, I think you're right. I don't remember ever seeing a pump jack requiring an input fluid or a fuel of any sort. Okay, well, I've got to the end of my list of questions. If there's anything else you'd like to say about the mod or about the planet or about the playthroughs or any other shout-outs, anything like that, then now is your chance.
Well, I enjoy watching your playthrough.
Oh, thank you very much.
I've promoted myself already that I make games, so I'm not sure else. I also want to shout out again. I probably don't pronounce it correctly, but his nickname is Kane NP, I think. He's listed in my mod's description because he made all of the amazing graphics, and he even was the one who contacted me. And also thank you to all of the other contributors, because there was like that transparent effect that you can see right now on one of the copper plate machines on the left.
Oh,
it was
the sort of the mystical cloud effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's also an effect that Not Melon made for me. And I don't know, thank you for playing that mod. Yeah, and watching this interview. I haven't done anything like that yet. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely, and I think it's a really nice way to give a bit of a shout out to the people who've been making the mods that we've been playing with, because obviously without your contributions to our game, essentially we wouldn't have the Planetary Pioneer series. So we're very appreciative of all the hard work you've put in, and allowing us to have these big rolling series that go on for years.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone wins. I've made a nice mod and I'm interviewed. You can do interviews and have a nice playthrough.
Exactly. Yeah, it's been great. So this whole sort of the Factorio community thing all coming together again.
Yeah, exactly. Factorio community is actually really great.
Absolutely. Right, okay, well, on that wonderfully positive note, thank you for your time. It's been great talking to you and getting a feel for what went into the creation of this planet. And thank you to you for watching. If you'd like to give Igrys a try yourself, there's a link to the mod page in the description, along with everyone EgorX wanted to give a shout out to. We'll be back to play some more Planetary Pioneers on Monday at 7:30 PM UK time, and I'll be playing Foundry on Wednesday at 8 PM. Videos will be coming out every Thursday and Friday, so make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on any of those. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.